Here we go. True sports talk, let the talk begin. Let's let that talk begin. True sports talk, true sports talk, true sports talk, true sports talk. Let's let the talk begin. True sports talk, true sports talk, true sports talk, true sports talk. Let's let the talk begin.
Welcome to True Sports Talk. Let's let the talk begin. And what we're talking about, the NFL schedule that was released last night. Now, I've looked at it and I've came up with 3 teams that I feel have the easy schedule, 3 teams that I feel have a tough schedule. It's all debatable. You could interchange a lot of different teams in these positions, but these are the teams that I personally feel have the easiest and toughest roads to get to the playoffs. I didn't look at teams such as the Rams and the Browns, the Lions. I didn't look at any whack team, to be perfectly honest, because it doesn't matter if their schedule is easy or tough. The teams are just not good enough to get to the playoffs anyway. So why waste my time looking at these teams? Alright? So moving on, looking at contending teams. Toughest and easiest schedules. Many people don't know if this team is contending. I still think they are, even with Matt Leinart at their starting quarterback. The Cardinals, because they have an easy division, so it's easy to get to the playoffs in their division. And their schedule helps them out a lot this year. They have an easy schedule. They play the Rams twice. They got the Raiders. They got the Bucks. They got the Broncos. They have some very winnable games on that schedule, even with Matt Leinart at quarterback. So I feel Cardinals are one of them teams that have an easy schedule. Next, I believe the Saints have an easy schedule. For Saints being as talented as they are, they're not challenged at all too much in this season. They have the Bucks twice, they have the Panthers twice, they have the Rams on their schedule, they also have the Browns on their schedule. Very favorable matchups right there. And they shouldn't lose those games. So that's 6 wins already in a division that they easily could win with only 10 games. Winning only 10 games, maybe even 11. So I see the Saints with an easy schedule. Next, I see the Chargers with a very easy schedule. And Chargers' easy schedule, just like the Cardinals, is because the division is so terrible. Because of the division, they play the Raiders, the Broncos, and the Chiefs twice a year. That's 6 guaranteed wins. The Broncos, not saying Broncos are pushovers, but they got rid of their first, second, and third option on offense, and Brandon Marshall. So I'm really interested to see what the Broncos are going to do. Therefore, they are not going to challenge the Chargers. Therefore, making Chargers' schedule that much easier. Moving on to tough teams, okay? The toughest schedules. I have the Bengals. Looking at their schedule, only 4 teams that they played this year had a losing record last year. On their schedule, they got the Ravens, they got the Chargers, they got the Pats, they got the Jets, they got the Saints. Bengals have a tough road. They have to prove that last year wasn't a fluke. Yes, they added a receiving piece and Antonio Bryant, which could help them out and help free up Ocho Cinco and even help out Cedric Benson running game even more. But Bengals have a very tough schedule. Next, we got the Texans. Texans had a really good showing last year. This year, they really going to fight and have to prove that they are deserving of the accolades that they got last year, being over 500. For a simple fact, they played the Colts twice, and they faced the Jets. Only 3 teams last year had a losing record that the Texans played this year. So Texans really going to have a tough road this year, especially with not a sound running game. So it's going to be really interesting to see how the Texans play this year and how they do favor in this schedule. And many people might think I'm biased when I say this last team having the toughest road to the playoffs, the Cowboys. And it's only tough depending on this, to be perfectly honest. It's only tough depending on this. It depends on the Eagles and the Redskins if this is the toughest schedule in the league. Because the Eagles, losing Donovan, you don't know how Cobb is going to do throughout the year. But he's a pretty good quarterback. So Eagles still could give Cowboys trouble. Plus you have Andy Reid at coach. And then the Redskins always play the Cowboys tough. But that's not even with those 4 wins on the schedule, if those two teams are terrible, even those 4 wins on the schedule makes this one of the toughest schedules. They have the Saints, they have the Colts, they have the Vikings. Only 2 teams that they played this year had a losing record. So, very, very tough time for the Dallas Cowboys this year. They're really going to have to prove that they are a great team to even get to the playoffs and possibly do what they want to do, play a home field Super Bowl, which I don't see happening, especially with this schedule. Those are the easiest and toughest schedules that I see. What do you see? Now, like I said, there's other teams that I had on the edge. I had the Dolphins having a tough schedule. I had the Eagles in there with a tough schedule. The Colts with an easy schedule. But what do you got? True Sports Talk. I'm out.